book lovers, welcome to the channel. Today I've got a lovely writer of this book called Dumpling the Tiger. Children's storybook illustrated and written by Beatrice. And I got to meet her through the book. I got it and I shared it with my kids. They totally love it. I love it myself. And today I want to learn more about how she started writing it. So welcome to the channel, Beatrice.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of like understand, the story behind the book. How did it all start out, especially when it was during this MCO period?
I had a story way before MCO, and I wanted to have like a story about a cat. I mean, I have a cat, that's why it's easy for me to like want to find like a subject around myself. So I was like, okay, let it be about a journey of a missing cat, and like the protagonist will go and find the cat. But like I feel like cat is so basic. Like it's like people talk about cat all the time, or like they illustrate cats all the time. So I was like, okay, maybe because I really want to showcase, I have this intention of I want to showcase Malaysian environment. So when the girl was like looking for the cat, maybe she will go through like Malaysian spaces. I mean, I'm familiar with that, so I want to do something that I'm familiar with, like our environment, like our mamak store, like a grocer, or like Petaling street kind of pasar style. So I just want to start with something I'm familiar with, and I want to have a book that makes sense. That's all about it. Like I'm not trying to be too ambitious with my story. Like it doesn't have to have a big moment of like hero accomplished stuff. I just want it to make sense. I want it to be fun, and I want the kids to like, okay, like I know a lot of parents are like, they're looking for Malaysian stuff, so I want something that they can have and their kids can have, that is like, oh, well, this, because a lot of storybooks that we own, it has a lot of European settings. The buildings, the architecture, and all the interiors are very European, which is very beautiful. But I just thought it would be kind of nice to have a little Malaysian touch to have in their childhood. And because I grew up loving storybooks, and I loved all the designs of the structure and characters, and I think it would be really memorable if there's one that is very, very familiar to me, like a Malaysian setting. So that is where it is coming from, and then only the characters. So
you did achieve that. When I got the book, I opened it and then I saw Zoo Negara in there. I was like, whoa, this can't be an international book. This has to be a local book. But when I saw the whole design around it and the whole packaging, especially when it came in that pizza box, and of course all of the stickers that comes along with it, I knew that this is a very special book, and it was made locally for the locals here. And when I opened it and I went through the pages, you got characters in there that are local, from different races, especially the races that represents Malaysia. You got Zoo Negara, you got the marketplace. And how do you come up with a storyline?
I try to write. I actually start one scene first,
yes,
to just get the feel of the whole book. So I started with a scene that is the tiger at the sink, and then she's like illustrating on a floor. And actually I based it on my old house as a kitchen, like super old. I used to live like in a vintage looking house with all the tiles, and the windows, what you call that window that you can, when we were back in primary school or high school, there's the window that opens and closes it, like what do you call that?
Yeah, like, you've got glass panes, right?
Glass pane window, like, yes, this is so. Yeah, I think we all had that growing up, but like it's not like we have it in our house right now. It's more modern, but I just thought that because my house was so like in there, especially that kitchen corner is so vintage, the tiles and all, I really based on that. So I moved up from the house right now, but that is actually based on my house. And I was thinking like she used a real little old calendar to, I mean, like my grandparents used to write like wedding grocery stuff on the calendar stuff, so I thought she will write on that. So that is just the first scene, the first ever scene. Like there will be this girl. I designed the girl based on like Malaysian little girls, how they look, like black hair, like they always have this bowl cut. So she will have the bowl cut, like very, very basic. And the tiger is also like afterwards it was cat first, and I was thinking like it would be better if like the character tiger that showed up and actually brought, like I designed the characters based on just like, okay, if we are here in Malaysia, like what will we get? What will you get? Like I designed the environment based on that as well. But I also don't want to be too on the nose, like there's a flag behind, like to tell you like where we are. Actually, the Zuno girl also like quite on the nose, but I mean at least it's at the back. So I wanted to like draw you in instead of like tell you this is a Malaysian thing. So that's why it's like you don't see much of like flag and on in the cover. You don't see like very very obvious stuff like nasi lemak, or you don't see the twin towers. Like I try to do that for all the characters and all the design of the environment. So yeah, it's from that intention.
Yeah, and is that girl, the protagonist, actually you?
People always ask that, but is she you? Like, I guess sure. Like she could
And
be me.
if she's you, who's the tiger? That would be the second
my cat,
question.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I never thought like, but I thought maybe she's me because I always had in mind that she's a little bit insecure, like very passive. She's always in her room. Of course, I feel like it could have translated better, but I just want to build this character. Like if she's like this, what will she do next? If she's like she's very passive, so she's usually hang out in her room. But things showed up, she'll try to do the right thing. That's the character's the way she will respond to things. So she will ask around, she will but like in the end she also will feel like she don't think she did a good job, like that is how the character is. So I feel like maybe I put a little bit of myself in her, but I didn't really like design her as me, maybe I just accidentally put myself in her. Yeah.
So the little girl, the main character, went on to find the tiger's owner, assuming that the tiger is lost. And they went on a journey. I noticed towards maybe the third quarter of the book, they went to Zunagara and there was a cat catcher. There was an animal catcher. Yeah. And what's going on there? That was probably the antagonist or something that's going to happen badly happen there, but it didn't happen because they were hiding from it. So is there a history behind it as a writer? Why you wrote it that way?
It's interesting that like I know that you are like basing this on how plot develops. Like okay, there is a purpose and there is like a obstacle and there is like a climax and then there is like an ending. I also try to base on that basic line of building a story. Like okay, what's the intention, the purpose? But actually, you are asking a very interesting question because that scene is at the very last minute. Because I was like, okay, I got this story out, like I got the ending, I got the start, I got the middle, but there's no a little bit of urgency. Like I wanted to add a little bit of like, okay, she's worried, or like the tiger is not willing, or some kind of conflict. It could be better, like I said, like I could drag this story on, like I could keep polishing it for another 2 years, but there's no point. Because I did this in a year, more than a year, and I really want to like, okay, if this makes sense, this is good enough, this will be out. I cannot keep polishing forever. So this scene I added last minute. Okay, I wanted to add like an urgency to the characters. Like okay, maybe the tiger is supposed to go back to the zoo, but it's not. Like the tiger doesn't want to like. At first the story is just going to be like, okay, the zookeeper say it doesn't belong here. You go forward, then you'll find your way. But I was like, what if someone want to force the tiger to go to the zoo? That was the intention. So yeah, you asked an interesting question. Like that scene is supposed to add a little bit of urgency and a little bit of like the intention of the tiger. Like the tiger is not just there hanging out. The tiger has a wants to go somewhere and doesn't want to go somewhere as well. So just a little bit of character in it.
Yeah, I thought the characters really popped out, especially the girl. I mean, there were a few scenes that showcases a character. One, of course, is the very helping kind of nature to her, that she wants to try and help the tiger. Yeah. And then towards the midway, she wants to try and calm the tiger and save the tiger from danger. And the last part was kind of interesting, where she was okay to let the tiger go into the jungle, like to be able to disengage and part with someone she just bonded with, or therefore, and towards the end, the tiger came back to her. That was like, whoa, the interesting moment where the tiger actually came back.
Yeah, you watch the show Life of Pi.
Was
You
there
know?
inspiration there, Life of Pi?
Immediately, like that scene was like, wow, like they've been through. I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there, like this is inspired by a lot of materials, like films, books, like everything is inspired. Nothing is original, nothing is new, but I'm just trying to make it special and mine. So I'm gonna say it like that scene is inspired from Life of Pi because the feeling it gave me. Because I think in the show, like they've been through a lot. They fought, and then they try to kill each other, and they've been through like hunger and all the storm. And in the end, like there's no dramatic goodbye. It's just the tiger just went, And I think that it also makes me feel like a lot of people in our lives as well. They show up and then they've been through a lot with you, and then sometimes it's just not there anymore. And then it's the end of something, like end of a lot of things, projects as well, ending of friendship, ending of people. And I don't know, I'm trying to convey that without being dramatic. Sometimes it's just no dramatic bye. It's just that's it. Like sometimes we don't even get to say goodbye to people. People pass away, we don't get to say goodbye. And I just like that, and I put that in. It doesn't have to be dramatic, and but I felt like it gave me a feeling, and I want to translate that into that part. Yeah.
I like how you mentioned, how we go our own ways. I also feel it sometimes. I'm wondering about this thing in our life where we have to say bye without saying bye. Like you mentioned projects. You can be very close with someone doing a project. You're doing the project together, and you bonded. You share the same values. You share the same interests. And then when the project ends, you become just a hi-bye friend. Strangely enough, when you go to a mall and you see that friend, hi, and sometimes you're like, I used to work with that person, and that's how it
like
was.
You don't even remember when did you say goodbye or when was the last time you met that person, but that is the last time. It always struck me like you don't know when is the last time. Even like in high school, you see them every single day. I mean, it happens throughout our life. I'm sure it's very relatable. Like you just remember this person that you were so close, but you never thought that there was a time that we would say they will not be close anymore. Like you take the presence for granted, and just been through a lot of things that you felt like they will be there forever. And that is how it is. And it's not something that only adults experience. I think kids can understand as well. We graduate all the time.
Yep, I would think so. And life is a journey towards all the way to the end, right?
Yeah. Life is made out of endings and beginnings.
Oh, very deep. Yeah. And since you mentioned Life of Pi, right? What do you think of the tiger? Do you think the tiger is real? Do you think the island is real? Do you think
is it
represents
the whole
mom?
thing a dream?
Yeah, do you think it's a dream?
I like to think that it's real. I think, but I also like to interpret it as like it is his internal conflict with himself. Like everything is, he's trying to fight against something. He's trying to run away from something, but something keeps attacking him, and he's stuck with that thing. But in the end, he reached shore, and whatever baggage he has is also like release from him, like new perspective. The storm, I don't know, like it can be, I feel like it can be interpreted that way. But I also love the fact that there is a tiger, and it's there. But also the tiger represents many things. And Life of Pi is very interesting. I'm very inspired by that film.
Yeah, the writer won the Booker Prize Award, I think.
The director or something is the writer is Malaysian or something.
The writer? No, definitely the writer is definitely not a Malaysian. But the tiger, the animated tiger was done in Malaysia.
Someone in the production is a Malaysian. Maybe the writer or the editor.
Yeah,
I forgot. But Life of Pi, interesting film. Is it one of your favorite?
I actually bought the book. I remember I bought the book at Kino.
Okay.
So I got drawn by the cover, surprisingly, and I just looked at it. I thought it was a very interesting cover. It looks very like a fun read. And then I saw that, I think it was the Booker Prize Award that once I thought, okay, I'm gonna get this and see what this is about. And when I read it, right, I was like, it's interesting. I can interpret it different ways.
Yeah.
And when the movie came out, I got a second take on it. And then I read the book again. I'm like,
so what was your take?
I kind of like the initial thought was that all the animals represents the real character on the boat, and what the animals did to each other happened to those humans. So it was kind of like, ooh, gory. It's like, what? And the thing is like, whoa, someone ate someone killed someone. And I knew the tiger was like kind of the mom, or roughly the mom, the protector, because, or was it, no, the orangutan was the mother. Right? Because the orangutan was trying to protect, and of course the tiger was the chef, I think, and it was kind of gory. But then after I watched the movie, I read the book again, and then you just mentioned it. Maybe I was just sitting on the boat alone, just imagining all of this. And it got him to survive the whole journey till he reached the island.
Yeah. Like that struggle or whatever that he was going through helped him survive as well. That tried to kill him helped him survive. So I don't know, it could be interpreted that way.
Yeah, our minds kind of narrate.
It's fun. Yeah, it's a fun show.
Yeah. So back to your book again. I wanted to kind of explore your journey. How what were the kind of struggles that you had producing the book or writing the book?
I always wanted to. I knew I always wanted to have a book in my lifetime. I mean, like not just one book, of course, but I knew that I had to start somewhere, and nobody's gonna sign me. Like, no, they have not seen my story. Nobody's gonna sign me because I say that not because I'm like being very humble or something, but it's an investment, and people need to see stuff to invest. And if I have not produced anything at all, like who's gonna give me a chance? I'm not gonna wait around for that chance. Basically, I just hope that my goal is to like have a book complete. And if it sells, great. Like if it doesn't, I made a book and I will continue making it even if this one fails, flopped or whatever. I just want to make more books in the future. But if this one flops so bad, it tells me that I cannot make books anymore. But it didn't flop. And in fact, it's doing quite okay in my standard. So I gave myself like a pass. But how did it came about is because I want to be like a writer for the long haul. So I don't want to make it so important, like this book has to be the like my magnum opus or something like that. It just has to make sense. It just has to find a little audience that actually want to see the next one, want to have a second from me. And I just need that, and I know that I'm okay. And it doesn't have to be the most amazing book. So basically that. And the story, I actually had a lot of people to help me. I wrote it out, and then I meet a friend. She's a writer as well. Her name is Ashley, and I had a look at the first round of the draft, and then she's like, what was it that I changed to? I think it was like the girl was gonna call the tiger the cat. She like didn't know the tiger is a tiger, so she's gonna go around and ask like, "Is this your big cat?" And that was the whole story. Like it's supposed to be like she don't even know like that is a tiger until maybe the end or something, or like I just thought it was cute. But my friend told me like it might be confusing for kids that if you call a tiger a cat, and then the kids will have this like dissonance, like this is a tiger, like why should you keep calling cat, like they cannot continue it. So I changed it to tiger, like and then she helped me with that. And after that, what was it? Like, the draft changed many times. Like I said, like there's a last minute change. I added a few scenes inside to create a little more urgency. And I'm not good at constructing a scene on my own. Like I need, like it takes a long time to create one scene. Like you have an idea of what that scene. Sometimes you have an idea of the scene, but you don't have you don't know what to write. And sometimes you know what to write, you know what the story is going to be, but you don't know how the scene is going to look like. And it takes a long time. So
do you use storyboarding?
Of course I have to use. I have I keep redrafting the storyboard, like this could be better, like I should add this, I should take away this. So like I said, there's a lot of things I need to polish, my drawing skills, like my scenes and writing. My boyfriend is also an illustrator, so he's very good at drafting. Like he's very good at environment. Like he knows how to construct a scene in his mind, like the structure of the scene. Like you want isometry, you want top view, you want like over the shoulder view. Like he knows he's good at that. I'm good at drawing characters and like creating characters. I'm good at I'm good at creating stories for characters with very, very basic elements. But you cannot have all the basics only for a book. You want it to be interesting, you gotta have many, many scenes. That's what I thought. Of course, I've seen many books with very basic scenes, but that's another level. So yeah, I actually got a lot of help to put this book together. I wouldn't like claim all the credit to myself. And I also hired an editor towards the end of the book, and her name is Charmaine. She helped me like give it the flow. Like sometimes you write, you forget the flow, you know that it makes sense to you, but sometimes you need to edit some things away, you need to clarify some things, and she really helped me with that. And that was towards the end. And towards the very, very end, I also got another writer friend, if you know, who is Ian Bowie. He wrote the book when I was a kid, and he also helped me edit a little bit. He added some rhymes. He's like, kids' book, you need rhyme. And so I added rhymes a little bit in the book. So like I said, like there's a lot of hand in this book, to really put it, to give it life. But the struggle, I would say, to how many books do I print, Yeah. Yeah, how many books do I print? Like how much per book should be, or how should I price it?
Yeah, because the less you print, the more expensive it is.
Yeah,
per book.
But what if you print too many? And it sits in my storeroom all year.
Writer's dilemma. I had that dilemma too when I first started, when I went to the print shop.
How many did you print?
I started off, there were a couple of strategies that we were using. I had a couple of writers writing with me, so I wanted to learn the trade. So I just joined them on the journey to doing it.
I saw that you have a few you collaborate.
Yeah. And the next one I'm collaborating on is with my sister, because it's my dad's book, right? I'm writing about his journey, so it's very personal for us. So I don't really, if it doesn't sell even one copy, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm actually writing.
What is the book about?
It's about my dad's backpacking journey from Brickfields, YMCA, all the way to London.
Oh yeah, I saw your title.
Yeah, so he went through even when he went through Afghanistan and Kashmir, where all these wars, you can't do it today anymore unless you want to get killed. But he did it, and he went through this backpacking journey.
With a bike, or like hitchhiking, or?
Hitchhiking with it was actually by these two teachers from the Peace Corps. There is an American organization that helps to teach children, give education to third world country children, right? So they were in Malaysia, and they want to go back to London, and they
backpack from here to
London.
I know you could drive, but like
they took train, they took cargo planes, they hitchhiked.
When was this?
This was in the 70s, 69 onwards, that part. Yeah, it was the hippie era, so I got a glimpse into the hippie scenes in India when a lot of people from England were traveling to India to get high. So my dad was going the other way, and he was traveling to London to study. So he planned it in a way that he reached there just in time to get into college.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. So you have pictures and all that.
Yeah, I got a box right here of his old photos, and it's not an easy write. It's really hard because I'm writing it as a third person.
Yeah.
I'm not good.
Him.
Yeah, and I'm not good, especially when you're referencing your dad, right? Do you reference your dad as Dad, or do you reference your dad as Robert, which is his name? And the angle is so hard to do. So I put my sister in. My sister is a wordsmith, and she's actually a journalist for Reuters right now. So her England is very good, like maybe 300% better than mine.
She's a writer for?
She used to write for NST, and then after she did her journalism, and she went all the way to.
She's a journalist.
Yeah, so now she's a journalist, and she used to work for CNN, Bloomberg, and now Reuters, and she's an anchor lady now, but she writes a lot.
Is she based here?
No, she's based in London.
I see. That's incredible.
Yeah,
so do this with your sister about your father.
No, but that's a very interesting journey. But coming back to printing the book, I took a few strategies. One is one writer told me just create a web page. Don't even write the book yet, right? Or create a web page and see what people want to read. So I thought, wow, this is...
Wow, okay.
Yeah, some people actually create the concept and the visual for the book before they even start writing the book.
Really?
And yeah. So they're testing the market. That's how they save cost. They don't write everything and print out and then hope the book will sell. They kind of like sell the idea first and the concept, and then they will have packages where you can buy the book in advance at a cheaper price.
Oh.
Yeah. But
is
they
it
haven't
like
written
a
the book.
Kickstarter?
Yeah, something like that. That's what they do. Yeah, most writers do it like that these days.
So like you give people a glimpse of what you will get, and there's an early bird price if you buy first.
And some actually gives chapters by chapters along the way until the book is launched. But what they're actually doing is they're writing it along the way to see what the readers like about it and where they
is so scary.
Yeah, that's really scary. And like my current book, my dad's book, I just got a patron signing up 2 days ago, and that's, when patrons come in, you get really scared because they believe in you, but it is so
you have to see it through now,
Yeah, every time I get a patron signing up, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I got a full-time job. I don't have time to write that much, but yeah, I'll definitely do it. There's pressure, but that's how it works.
I think it's too stressful to have a Patreon account for myself, so
yeah, that's how it works. And the printing of the books, for now I'm going digital, so I don't have to worry too much about printing. My dad's book is digital, and I'll try and keep it digital for now until I want to go back to printed books.
Yeah, I think most of the time you want it digital. If it's mostly like words, but you have a lot of pictures too, right? So.
Yeah, and illustration. So like for your children's storybook I think physical is very important. Especially
they want to touch it. Yeah,
with that gloss finish. that's I know that's expensive.
Yeah,
that's expensive.
You gotta have some texture on it, and next time I really hope that I can do something more like texture based. But I just thought that kids, like have a physical thing, it's like more memorable, and you can keep, and you can write your name on it. I want people to interact with the book, touch it, feel it. There's a paper inside, and you can write your name on the page. Did your kid get a name on the book?
My kid hasn't written because we didn't want to.
Oh, yeah, you didn't have a name.
I
write for everybody if they want, like if you purchase the book, you can leave a note that if you want your name or your kid's name on it, I will write for you.
Yeah. So, it was really, really interesting to see such a really nice book too. And the color proofing was done pretty well. It looks like the right colors that will come out from watercolor piece, right?
I don't have color proofing, so it's like when it printed, it is just I have to accept it as it is. So it's very scary.
They'll give you copies to.
Yeah, but they didn't. Well, they didn't.
Wow.
Maybe it's not like 5,000 books, so they're like, it's fine. You just get a few hundred, so we're just gonna print it like whatever.
Wow.
I don't know. They say that there's no such thing.
Job well done to the printers though. They did it well.
Yeah, I have to accept it as it is. So, like if there's a mistake, which it had on the first book, this is the one on your hand is second edition. The first edition, there's some mistakes. I rectified it, but I don't have to say what it is, but I fixed it. I have to fix, when they first launched, it was so scary because I have no proofing, right? So I had to fix the mistake. So there's I can tell you one mistake that I remember. There is like a Photoshop error that I forgot to add the calendar on the calendar, you know what I'm saying? Well, of course you wouldn't know what I'm saying because yours is a fixed version, but this is empty when it came out. This part, the number 10 is empty. So I have to like cut out stickers that I printed on and stick on it. Yeah, the 10, I have to like print out and cut exactly the size and like paste it on. So that is a lot of work. So it was a nightmare. It was so exhausting to put it together. Yeah, I think I burned part of my soul.
That's a challenging time,
Yeah, so your mistakes, I don't have proofing, so you need proofing. If especially like there's many pictures.
Yeah. So I guess towards the end of our discussion, is there any parts of the stories that I may not have gotten? Some secrets or something like that?
Huh.
Hmm.
Well,
something that I wouldn't know.
okay. Okay, I can share something that I find very interesting. That besides the book, like you got the book, right? So you got the calendar inside.
Yes.
So this is something extra that I like to throw in because throughout my like design life, I like to add in a lot of extra stuff for what you've ordered. Like if you buy something, I mean, if I do something for you, I would love to throw in extra stuff, especially if the whole process is pleasant. I will throw in extra stuff like I know you didn't want this, but I just throw this in for you, like if you want it. And so I have a package that comes with postcards and stickers and the phone stand. This really helps with marketing. Besides selling the book itself, I throw in a lot of stuff. Like you thought that the end is when you print the book, they buy the book, you send the book. But like I have to print stickers, I have to coordinate stickers, I have to buy the boxes that fits the book, and I like to do all this extra stuff that gives like a more full experience to just the end product. So I've already done that throughout my design life, but I'm so glad I get to do that for my book. So I used to draw like portraits in like markets and bazaars. People just want like, oh, I want my face and my boyfriend's face, and then you draw it and then you just give it to them. And I want to add a frame for it. I will frame it up for them. I'll put it in the box, and then if I have time, I will scan it and I will give them a digital version so they can use it on their profiles. I like extra stuff. All this extra stuff is like what brings me a lot of joy and what brings them joy. They love all this stuff and they didn't expect it. So I love to add all this touch, and it makes me very exhausted, but I love it. So this book comes with a lot of extra stuff that is not part of the book,
I enjoyed the extra stuff. I was amazed when I opened up that pizza box. I was like, wow. And when I opened up the book, I saw that piece of paper, which is the Chinese calendar, like what our elders used.
Yeah. And that's so hard to print because it's so thin. I just burn myself out at it, but in a good way. Like, okay, like
it makes it yourself?
I print it myself. So the paper is so thin that you cannot go through a printer. So what I have to do is I get a paper that is like thick enough. I take the calendar paper. I have to spray a layer of glue that is not a regular glue, so it doesn't like melt onto it. Yeah. So I stick on the paper. I iron on it, so the irons and the paper, like it really irons the paper and the regular paper on it, and I print it, and I have to separate the calendar paper from the normal paper, and then sometimes it will tear and I have to start all over again, but sometimes it doesn't, so the one you get is the lucky one, like it doesn't tear. So I've gone through like hundreds over paper.
Man, okay, yeah. Now that I didn't know. I was actually figuring it out, like how did you print this? Could it be like you actually went to go and buy hundreds of these Chinese old calendar, tear it out, and then somehow...
It did. I tear it out. I have to cut it because I don't want the tearing to leave like an ugly mark. I so much work on it, but it's like it makes me very happy to be able to just put it together, But it's so much work.
I'm going to frame it up, Beatrice. I'm going to frame it up somewhere.
So far, only one person frame it up, but they don't know what I've been through. But it's okay, as long as you get it and it's fun. But I love the thought that people like, oh, there's a calendar, like it makes me happy. Every time I want to like give up when I print all this stuff and put it together and wrap it up and all that. But I think of all the people that are like, they open up and they find it so special that, oh my God, calendar paper is like so basic, like it's on the wall and I don't even think about it, but now it's like part of the story. It makes me happy. And I just find the power to do it again, even though it's so excruciating to just print and tear it out and open up to the right page, and then you put the paper, you close it, and then you start all over again. Print, spray, iron, tear, and And this is just a calendar paper. I have to cut all the postcards and the stickers, But I love it. So
Thank you for doing it. I really appreciate it a lot. So yeah,
I need to hire someone.
Where can we? You have a website for all of these. You want to share your website?
Please go to my website. It's like my name here and .com. So
ohbeatrice.com. OHBEATRICE.com. beatrice.com.
Correct. So you find my stuff there, you find my stuff on Instagram. Those are my latest updates.
I highly recommend this book. This is probably one of my favorite children's storybooks. I have a lot.
Thank you.
And when I saw my girl picking it up like twice that night and the next morning asking me to read it, and it's a really neat book, and it represents our local culture and scene here. It's just mind blowing. Definitely.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Thank you for having me. Even like you find me interesting enough to want to talk to me about the book.
Thanks,
Thank
Beatrice.
you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.